Before implementing a project portfolio management solution, expectations, support, and staffing must be addressed. Here are guidelines based on 6 key questions that can help ensure your rollout is not only successful, but improves alignment and results across the organization. First, does the executive team strongly support this initiative? For the solution to serve as a single source of truth for managing and maintaining project information, it is critical that executives understand the investment rationale and benefits it will deliver to the organization. Build organizational support for the rollout and transition to the new normal by engaging key stakeholders and making sure they promote the value of the implementation, as well as the objectives and requirements for a successful rollout. 2. How much change will the PPM solution create? Many PPM implementations fail because organizations cannot cope with the amount of change required by the transition to the new system. A top-down implementation approach can minimize change and disruption while still delivering significant value. Focus initially on just capturing KPIs that are critical metrics for reporting and planning, such as milestones or phase-level task information. This allows teams to spend more time executing project work instead of updating the tool. What are the desired outputs? It can be tempting to define fields in a new solution based on how projects have been handled in the past. But think about the end result first. What reporting outputs are most important to stakeholders? Define a concise list of desired outputs to help you work backwards and understand the most relevant information you need to capture. This also minimizes the amount of care and feeding required by end users, making adoption easier. What updating process will you use? For updating information in your PPM solution, there are 2 main approaches to consider: centralized and federated. Centralized rollouts are better for large organizations with hundreds of resources. The PMO team is responsible for meeting with business leaders to collect project and staffing information, then updating the solution for analysis, reporting, and planning. Federated rollouts rely on the end users, often non-PMO project owners, to keep information updated. This can work well for small to mid-sized organizations. The PMO must still remind project owners to update their information in the solution. Will we attempt a big bang rollout or add capabilities incrementally? It can be tempting to launch all the solution's features on day one. However, a big bang often turns out to be a big bust. Start small and master the basics of the solution to ensure inputs and outputs are running smoothly and as expected, and that end users are comfortable with how the solution integrates into their everyday workflow. Then incrementally add capabilities as the organization matures and usage becomes ingrained in your process. Do you have personnel with adequate time allocated to the implementation or rollout? Organizations often do not assign the right staff to own the implementation, or staff is not able to dedicate the necessary amount of time to the rollout. Depending on the organization size, PMO maturity level, and tool complexity, personnel and time requirements will vary. Assign a business analyst to own the implementation, dedicating at least 25% of their time to the effort. A key stakeholders, such as the PMO director, should also allocate about 10% of their time to oversee and advising on the implementation.